What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my opinions for upcoming banners coming to the global version of the game. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Xande'S event, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, because I honestly don't know if that's the right way to say it. But before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel and I really do appreciate it if you do. And we are going back to the usual format for our Should You Pull. Thank God night shift is over. Now without further ado, let's get on with this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this video off with Xande'S abilities with all the passives included as well. So his first ability is called Libra Combo, which is going to be a 4-hit AoE Fire in Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack. This will have a 150% max Brave overflow limit as well as a 20% splash damage initially. This will grant him 1 level of the special effect called Circus Tower. This will also apply 6 turns of weakness control to all targets and will have increased brave damage when attacking a single target. Now weakness control will basically have a 20% defense down on the enemy and will have a fire and earth imperial debuff added to that as well. So it's all rolled into one debuff, which is very nice. Now Circus Tower has 5 levels, and depending on what level you are, you're gonna get that extra buff. So think of it like I guess Fran's debuff, where it was a stacking debuff. As you go higher in the level, the more you get out of it. So at level 1, you get an increase in crit brave damage by 20%. At level 2, increasing the stolen brave overflow by 20%. And at level 3, you get an increased HP damage to non-targets by 30%. And you get level 4, you get a party enchant, or a party dark enchant. And finally at level 5, you get an increased HP damage again to non-targets, making it a total of extra 50% damage. And if you add this up with his other abilities, of course, it will be around about 70% splash damage, which is very nice. Now onto his second ability called Quake. This will do a 5-hit AoE Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack with a 150% max Brave overflow limit. Again, this will have initially a 20% splash damage, but depending on your Circus Tower buffs, it will obviously be higher. This will also grant 8 turns of Demon King's power buff and will have increased Brave damage again when attacking a single target. Now when your Circus Tower is at least at level 3, this will become Quagga, which is going to be a 4-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack. That is going to be delivered twice, and this will have a 180% max Brave overflow limit. Now as for Demon King's power, this will grant him a max Brave up and an attack up, and will grant him Earth and Dark enchant himself. Again, this is all rolled into one buff, so it is always nice when it's like that. Now, if you do have Demon King's power active, you will gain access to his Brave Attack Plus, which is going to be a 3-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave Attack, again increasing the Brave damage when attacking a single target. HP Attack Plus is going to be a 2-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave plus single target attack. This again will have an increased Brave damage when attacking a single target. Now as for Xande'S Cole ability, it's gonna be the Libra Combo. He will increase his attack first and will do a 4-hit AoE Fire in Dark Brave plus single target HP damage, and then will have a 50% splash damage in total. This will have increased Brave damage once again when attacking a single target, and will apply 6 turns of weakness control. And then will have a 180% max Brave overflow limit. Now let's take a look at his EX ability called Meteor. How many meteors have we had now? So this is going to be a 3-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack that is delivered twice. We'll have increased Brave damage when attacking a single target. Again, we'll have 20% splash damage initially on the last HP attack, but if you do have Circus Tower, this is going to be increased. And then you've got 3 turns of 1 level of the World Engulfing Darkness, which is maxed at 5. This will have a slow recast speed. Now, World Engulfing Darkness is actually a pretty powerful buff. This will increase his attack by 10% per level, and then increases his recast speed by 10% per level. Now at 1 out of 3, this will increase the Brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3, this will increase the duration for the World Engulfing Darkness buff. And at 3 out of 3, it does increase the recast speed of his EX ability. Now, if you do decide to realize this weapon at 0 out of 3, this will do a 5-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack delivered twice. This will have an increase in potency and will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit. Now, at 1 out of 3, this will increase his max Brave and his attack. And at 2 out of 3, this will grant him all the buffs basically that he has. And when the battle starts, he will apply 6 turns of that weakness control debuff as well. And finally, at 3 out of 3, when you're using Meteor, this will do a 5-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave plus single target HP attack delivered 3 times. And then it will increase its potency as well, and you will have gain access to his Brave Attack plus and HP Attack plus, which basically will just have increase in Brave hits, and HP Attack plus will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit. Now let's take a look at his LD, which will grant him the LD ability called Destruction Quagga. This will cancel all the break status of all the targets, so think of it as Lightning's LD ability as well. Then this will do a 4-hit AoE Earth and Dark Magic Brave attack plus single target HP attack that is delivered twice. Again, this will have increased Brave damage when attacking a single target, will have a 150% max Brave overflow limit, and a 50% splash damage on the last HP attack. This will also grant 1 level of the Circus Tower, which will have a total of 5. This will grant you free ability usage on your next turn, of course excluding the LD ability, and will have 3 uses initially. And now at 1 out of 3, this will increase his attack and increasing the Brave damage dealt of the LD ability. 2 out of 3, increasing his attack and increasing its overflow limit by 30%. And at 3 out of 3, this will increase his attack and grant 1 extra usage for his LD ability. Alright guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Xande'S abilities with all the passives included, of course his realization and his LD ability, what do I think of Xande as a character? Honestly speaking, I gotta say he's a very, very powerful magic damage dealer. It doesn't look like it if you look at his abilities on paper. Like, he doesn't have a lot of max Brave overflow limit, especially with his EX ability, you know, and he's only at 150% for both his ability 1 and ability 2. Well, that's because some of the extra overflow is actually tied to his Circus special effect buff. So remember, he does get like 20% extra max Brave overflow limit as long as you hit like level 2 of the Circus Tower buff. And this is tied to all his abilities, that's including his HP attack. So it is a very, very powerful buff. However, you do need a while to kind of ramp him up to get there. To get to the peak of his powers, you do have to keep using all these abilities. And honestly, he doesn't have a lot of ability usage, which I think why the LD ability is a very, very important. Now remember, even with all the passives included, you are only getting one stack or one level of Circus Tower every time you use his ability 1 and his LD ability. You get one extra. I suppose you get one level at the start of the quest if you do have his EX plus, at least up to 2 out of 3. But right now, honestly, you should be 3 out of 3ing every single character, because that's how they're gonna be very, very useful in Lefenia stages. So, in saying that, it basically means that he does take a while to get to his peak of his powers, and I guess that is the biggest drawback with Xande. It does take him a while to get there. And not to mention his EX ability, which grants the World Engulfing Darkness buff, is kind of the same thing. It has a total of 5 stacks or 5 levels, and you only get 1 level each time you use his EX ability. Now the EX ability does have a slow recast speed initially, but you do have to remember each time you use it, you increase the stack and you increase the recast speed of his EX ability. So it does take a while initially to get there, but once you get going with Xande, he actually does not stop. So it's like, you know, once you get to his peak, he's very unlikely to go back down. So it's very unlikely he will lose his buffs and stuff like that. So I think if you are a little bit patient at the start, then, you know, Xande is definitely going to be very, very helpful. Unfortunately, one more thing with Xande is he is going to be labeled as one of those selfish DPS. He doesn't really bring anything else to the table other than really, really strong magic damage. He does have enchant, right? He has a dark enchant, I believe, with his Circus Tower buff, and he has some Imperial as well, so he does add those things to the table, but really nothing else. So if you're looking for a kind of big numbers kind of character, I guess Xande is a magic damage dealer that is probably right for you. Now the last thing that I will warn you guys about is when it comes to damage dealers, and we've probably talked about this so many times, is that not just magic damage dealer, but damage dealers in general have a lower scaling in terms of power creep. They do need a lot of help later down the track, especially, you know, as things get harder and harder. Sometimes you will need a lot more support for these selfish damage dealers, because sometimes it gets to the point where they can't support themselves high enough to do the amount of damage that they would have had previously in older contents. So it's just something to really think about. And I'm not saying he's gonna be really, really crap. I'm just saying he's gonna need a little bit of help later down the track. But all characters kind of fall into this anyway. Not so much the support characters, because they obviously bring support. But in terms of just damage dealer characters, they kind of tend to start to fall off eventually. They'll be really good for like a few months, and then, you know, you will see, I think he's not doing as good as he was before. So that is just something to really think about if you are going to invest on Xande. Alright guys, so we're finally at the end of this video, and the final question remains, should you pull? Honestly guys, there's so many factors revolving around whether you should pull on this banner or not. So I'm putting it down to maybe. So one of the first ones is, have you already gotten Cloud's Burst, and are you actually going after it? If you haven't gotten that burst weapon and you are planning to get it, this is probably the best place to get it. because Xande is a brand new character, so it just means no one has any of his weapons, so it's going to be very beneficial for you to grab an extra character along the way. Now honestly, for me personally, while I do say this is the best place, I actually prefer Beatrix's banner over this one to get Cloud's Burst, but that's probably just my own situation. You know, I was really debating which banner is better. Is it Beatrix or is it Xande'S to grab Cloud's Burst? And honestly, it's a bit of a toss-up. So personally for me, I really would prefer, I mean, I got Cloud's Burst, so I can't really say anything else. But for me, if I don't have Cloud's Burst, I do like Beatrix more than Xande. The only reason is Beatrix has a few utilities that are, I think, very, very useful, other than just being a pure magic damage dealer. So that is just my personal preference. But like I said, if you don't have Cloud's Burst yet, this is probably the best place to get it, since he is a brand new character. Now the other thing is, do you actually need a magic damage dealer? If you have pulled for Vivi previously, it's very unlikely that you will pull for Xande. I personally haven't looked into the Lavinia fight itself because I want to be, once again, just surprised, or at least I don't want to look too far ahead and just, you know, then there wouldn't be much more expectations in the global version. So I do try not to, but again, I am now playing the JP version, but I still have a few gaps that I would like to be a little bit more surprised with. So in saying that, do you actually need a magic damage dealer? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and pull on this. Personally, for me, I would be using tickets to get Xande'S stuff as much as I can. How much I will be investing, I am not entirely sure at this point, but I already got Cloud's Burst, so the appeal on this banner for me has dropped quite significantly. I guess if the Lavinia is causing me a little bit of trouble, maybe, but I highly doubt it. I mean, this is just going off my own speculation. When it comes to Lavinia, the mechanics usually revolve around the new character or the new weapon. So it's very, very likely that it's going to do something about like enchants and, you know, doing like dark earth or fire brave damage or something along those lines. So since Xande doesn't really bring anything else to the table, the other reason why I think this banner is a little bit weaker than the Beatrix one is the banner mates on this one. Oh boy, the banner mates on this one. So you have the almighty Zell, the Basura bro. So that's already a real drop on Steiner and Vanille. Like Steiner and Vanille in Beatrix's banner may not look very appealing, but having Zell on this banner just really made this banner really, really worse than Beatrix's banner. Eiko is still okay. I think Eiko is still not a bad like a healer slash battery character, but she's definitely have fallen off as well, which is unfortunate. So I think while, you know, Eiko is okay, it's just Zell. Anyway, I think I will end the video right here because I do think like it's probably worth throwing a couple of tickets if you already have Cloud's Burst. Why not? If you get his LD, that'll be great addition to your party, and you can have like if you have EX tokens, you can just grab his EX on the token shop. And to be completely honest, EX weapons aren't that as hard as to get as previous, I guess in the past, not just previous, in the past it was a lot harder. Now it's a little bit easier to grab EX weapons. So yeah, I would personally throw in a couple of tickets on this one. And yeah, and hopefully you guys get lucky, you know. If you do, that's great. If not, oh well. Anyway guys, yeah, I'll end the video right here. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I really do appreciate it if you would do that. You can always follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below if you are planning to pull for Xande, but also let me know what the reason is. Is Xande a favorite of yours, or are you looking for a magic damage dealer, or you didn't pull for Vivi? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to hear from you guys why you are pulling for this. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.